Hi, good morning children. I think you all are fine. Okay, all of you ready with your all textbook, everything and ready to attend the class. Can you remember what we discussed in last class? Yes, what was it? It is water and the problems of water, availability of water, etc. So today we can continue the same topic, means conservation of water resources. Conservation of water resources. So last class we discussed what are the problems of water, availability of water, everything we discussed. Am I right? So in this class we have to discuss how can we conserve the water. You know that water is a precious natural resource, very precious, and it is a natural resource also, renewable resource also, and 3/4 of the earth covered with water, that already we discussed, and these all are the important facts of water. But access to clean and adequate water source is a major problem facing the world today. 3/4 of the world is covered with water, or earth is covered with water. But the problem what it is, in contrast, the people are facing the problem of water, or adequate water is not enough, or adequate water supply is not there on earth. So because of these we have to take steps to conserve the resource. So we have to take precautions to solve, or the precautions to protect the water on earth. Water is a renewable resources, and how, and the access is inadequate. We know that it is renewable. While the classifications of the resources, we discussed the renewable resources and the non-renewable resources. So water is renewable. Once it is finished, again it is replenishing or reproducing. Then how it is also a problem in front of us? You know why it is? That is because of the overuse and pollution of the water. Water is there, enough availability is there, water is replenishing, reproducing renewable resources, but because of the overuse and the pollution of the water, the problem we people are facing still. Okay, and you know which are the major contaminants in case of water? What are the major contaminants in case of the water? വെള്ളം മലിനമാകാനുള്ള ചില കാരണങ്ങൾ, you know what it is, contaminants of in case of water. Okay, we can discuss it one by one. What are the major contaminants of water? What is discharge of a untreated or a partially treated sewage? You know sewage, waste, toxic waste, everything it is known as sewage. So discharge of untreated or a partially treated sewage, അതായത് സംസ്കരിക്കാത്ത മാലിന്യത്തെ നേരിട്ട് തള്ളുന്നു. That is known as before treating well only we have to draw or let the water waste or a solid waste to the water bodies or any land area. But before treating or a partially treating, വേണ്ട രീതിയിൽ സംസ്കരിക്കാതെ ശുദ്ധീകരിക്കാതെ, the activities is going on from the industries, factories and all. That is it, the most important problem. So next, second one, it is agricultural chemicals. You know that with increasing number of the population, we have to increase the agricultural activities also. So when the increase in production in case of food grains and cash crops and all, we people are using, or farmers are using intensively, they are using fertilizers, pesticides and insecticides. These all are poisonous. These all are you know that it is poisonous and it is more dangerous. So these all waste or these all chemicals, it is mingled in the soil and in the water. While the running water or the surface run of the water is happening, these all contaminants, it is mingled in water and the water bodies become contaminated. Am I right? Third one, industrial effluents, water bodies directly to the water bodies. You might have seen that for the processing of the industries, large amount of water is needed. So most of the industries or most of the factories is starting nearby any water bodies or banks of rivers and all. Why? They have to get in more water, huge amount of water for the processing activities in industries. So after these all activities, all the chemicals will be there, everything will be there, those all through a big gigantic pipes directly led to the water bodies or led to draw to the water bodies. It will cause the contamination of the water. Now you got it? So my dear children, these are the major contaminants of the water. Which are the major contaminants? Discharge of the untreated or a partially treated sewage, agricultural chemicals and industrial effluents. Got it? And these pollute water within while these all contaminants, these all activities are going on, these all water or whatever may be solid waste or a liquid waste, it is mingled with the running water or the river water or the ponds or canals or wherever may be. What will happen in these all contaminated water or a untreated water? What will be the content? Will be nitrate will be there, metals will be there, and pesticides, insecticides, fertilizers, everything will be there in this water. So these all water, it is mingling in these water bodies. Most of these are non-biodegradable and reach human bodies through water. While we are allow the untreated water to the any rivers or water bodies, the people those are using water from that area or with that surroundings, you know that it will affect their life, it will affect their health. It is that means affected the human bodies or their health. From this, what you understood that, yes, that is, we have to control water pollution by treating these waste suitably before releasing them in water bodies. So, what is the solution? നദികളിലേക്ക് ഒഴുക്കുന്നതിന് മുൻപേ treat these contaminated water or treat these waste water or sewage properly. ശുദ്ധീകരിച്ചതിന് ശേഷം മാത്രം അതിന്റെ വേസ്റ്റ് ഒക്കെ മാറ്റിയതിനു ശേഷം മാത്രമേ വെള്ളത്തെ ഒഴുകാൻ സമ്മതിക്കാവൂ. Got it? And you know that industries, factories and also their waste don't allow to draw directly to land and water bodies. And another method to conserve water is to increase vegetation cover. So my dear children, you understood what are the problems. Next we have to understand how can we solve these problems. How can we stop these contaminants or contamination of the water or a pollution of the water? What are the ways to solve this? First one, before treating, before allowing the water to the water bodies, we have to treat the water in factories and industries suitably. നല്ല രീതിയിൽ ശുദ്ധീകരിച്ചതിന് ശേഷം മാത്രം വേസ്റ്റ് വെള്ളത്തെ പുറന്തള്ളുക. Got it? I think you got it. Second one method, it is we have to increase vegetation cover and forest area. We have to increase vegetation cover. ചെടികളും മരങ്ങളൊക്കെ കൂടുതൽ നട്ടുപിടിപ്പിക്കുക. Vegetation cover and forest area. How it will help? Yes, it will help to reduce the slow of the surface runoff and replenish the underground water. It will help to replenish the underground water and it will also reduce the surface runoff water. ഉപരിതല വെള്ളം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഭൂമിക്ക് ഉപരിതലത്തിലെ വെള്ളം ശക്തമായി ഒലിച്ചു പോകുന്നതിനെ മണ്ണൊലിപ്പിനെ തടയാൻ കഴിയുന്നു. Underground level of the water also we can increase because if we are planting more trees or increasing vegetation cover and forest. Next, third method to solve this problem is to water harvesting. You heard? rainwater harvesting. Yes, rooftop water we can collect and we can allow to draw or to directly to the well water, and we can filtrate it and filter it, and we can directly draw to the well water, and we can use this rainwater harvesting or a water harvesting. So this is another method to solve the problem of water availability. And also next method it is construction of a proper canals for irrigating fields. Irrigation method. For irrigation, we are constructing canals, തോടുകളും ചാലുകളും ചാനലുകളൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നു, you know. So means to should be properly lined. It should be properly maintained. ഈ കനാലുകളൊക്കെ proper ആയിട്ട് maintain ചെയ്യുക, you know, to avoid the surface runoff water or the sheet erosion, or to stop this problem of soil erosion and contamination of the water. If you are constructing proper canal, through this we can minimize the losses of water by seepage. മണ്ണൊലിപ്പ് മൂലം മണ്ണും വെള്ളവും വളക്കൂറും നഷ്ടപ്പെടാതെ we can use the irrigation channels to use the water for the agricultural activities. I think you got it. Next one, also we can use sprinklers to irrigate the field. You know that what we are discussing, how what are the problems of contamination of the water. After that we are discussing how we can solve the problems of a scarcity of the water, contamination of the water, and how can we solve the inadequate availability of the water. How can we protect this water resource. So fifth one it is irrigate the field through the irrigate the field through these channels. After that we can see that sprinklers we can use. Sprinklers, you know that in front of our school, and also it is in your house or area also, and your neighborhood also, sprinklers are using. They are turning, and a little bit they are checking the overflow of the water, and a limited amount of water is sprinkling here and there to get enough water for the crops, plants and all. So if you are using sprinklers, we can reduce the overuse or exploitation of the water. And in dry season, water losses in a high because high rates of evaporation. You know that hot summer season evaporation is more, so the losses of water also more. So if we are using the sprinklers, we can reduce this evaporation of the water in summer season, and also we can reduce the overuse or over exploitation of the water resource. Next, in sixth method it is trickle irrigation is good. These are the important measures to conserve water. And the trickle irrigation, so that means you can see that like sprinklers we can use this little amount of water. In some areas you might have seen in tribal areas and hilly areas, bamboos are cutting and they are keeping the bamboos as a channel, and like drip irrigation, you know, drip irrigation. So like that we are using or protecting the water. It is most important method to solve the problem of water scarcity. Can you remember all the 6 points? What are the, how can we stop the problems of all these problems? Okay. How can we conserve the water resources? What we are discussing, conservation of the water. So how can we? For that 6 methods are there. One by one I will tell you once again. First we have to treat the industrial effluents and waste or a sewage directly, correctly or suitably before allow to draw into the water bodies or a land area. That means treat the sewage or the wastewater properly. Second one method it is to increase vegetation cover and forest. Increase the amount of vegetation cover and forest. Third one it is water harvesting system. Water harvesting system. And fourth one it is construction of a proper channels for the irrigation purposes. Next one, also use the sprinklers in the agricultural areas or for watering the plants. last one, trickle irrigation we can use for the reduce the consumption of the water, or through these 6 activities we can conserve the water. I think you got it. Am I right? Yes. Next, natural vegetation and wildlife. My dear children, so we complete land, its specialities, land use, problem of landslide, conservation of the land. After that we discussed soil as a resource and its factors formation and its soil profile and the degradation and causes of a soil. After that we discussed water. So water, availability of water, contamination, problems of contamination, and how to conserve the water resources. So 3 we discussed from the lesson 2. Next we have to discuss natural vegetation and wildlife. Natural vegetation and wildlife. Natural vegetation and wildlife. Before that, I will tell you one thing. You know, few children from their school, they visited an exhibition of handicrafts. You know what is handicrafts? Karakaushala vastukal. Kaikondunnakkunna Karakaushala vastukal. So, they visited, few children, they visited an exhibition of handicrafts. The items for an exhibition collected from the different regions of the country. That means different regions, different items are collected for that exhibitions. In that exhibition, there are different things the children noticed that, such as bags with jute and baskets, lampshades with lampshades and chairs with bamboos and canes. These all items, beautiful purse and also beautiful scarves and beautiful saris, handbags and lamps, chairs. Number of items were there in that exhibition of handicrafts. In eastern and northeastern parts of India, bamboos are growing plenty. You know that different areas, vegetation is different, soil is different, climate is different, flora, fauna, everything it is different. So, in eastern and northeastern parts of India, bamboos are growing plenty. They also saw that beautiful scarves made of silk materials. And also, from where this silk is getting, can you say? How we are collecting silk? Yes, that means, yes, it is from the silkworms. You know that from silkworms. And worms breed on mulberry trees. That means these worms are, silkworms are breeding or they are eating. That means using these mulberry trees, mulberry plants, and after watching all these items, that means they watched different items and silk scarves, everything they watched. These items, the children understood that plants provide many different products for our day-to-day life. Okay. Dear children, just you notice that our daily life, what are the items we are using? As a students, you are using textbook and your chairs and your pencils, your cotton cloths and different materials you are using, eraser, rubber, pencil, everything you people are using. So, natural vegetation and wildlife, it is, or especially these plants, it is providing, not only plants, animals also providing different items or objects or different things for our daily life. That you will understand. While we are checking different examples, you will understand it more. Okay. Natural vegetation and wildlife exist only in the narrow zone. So, we will discuss more. What are the examples, how the plants and animals are helping us. Before that, we have to understand natural vegetation and wildlife. Before that, what is natural vegetation? Natural vegetation, yes, it is a plant's life as a whole. Wildlife, animal life, especially forest areas. Okay, so natural vegetation and wildlife only we can see in the narrow zone that is known as a biosphere. We people are living, all the activities are going on, animals are living, forests are there, mountains are there, rivers are there, and all the trees and everything are there. It is living, it is possible only on the biosphere area. How this biosphere is possible? It is a narrow zone. It is a narrow zone. Biosphere is a narrow zone. How this biosphere is possible? Because of the influence of the lithosphere. You studied that. How many spheres are there? Lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, biosphere, etc. Am I right? So, while the contact between lithosphere, all the soil types, all the layers of the soil included in the lithosphere. Got it? Lithosphere, all the soil, land, area, layers of the land, it is included lithosphere. And biosphere, hydrosphere. What you studied about the hydrosphere? Yes, all the water bodies included hydrosphere. Then what is atmosphere? Because of the presence of this atmosphere, we are breathing fresh air. All the living beings are getting air, isn't it? That is, life is possible. So atmosphere and hydrosphere and lithosphere. Mannum, Vayuvum, adupole Vellavum. These are the three things contact with the biosphere. Then only the biosphere can exist. Lithosphere is needed, hydrosphere is needed, atmosphere is needed. These all three together make the narrow zone biosphere. Lithosphere, soil. Soil is needed for the growth of plants, animals, and all the base of all the activities. It is lithosphere. Am I right? Next, hydrosphere. Without the water, any activities, nothing is possible. Got it? And atmosphere. Atmosphere is one of the most important umbrella. It is acting as for to get fresh air for all the animals, and it is gravitational power, everything it is there. Now you understood what is the importance of these three spheres. These three spheres together it is forming, or with this contact, a biosphere is forming. So in this biosphere, natural vegetation and wildlife is possible. Now you got it, what all these spheres? Okay. And we people, plants, animals, and all the living beings are living together. We people cannot live together. We people cannot live alone. We have to need, there is a cycle, food chain. You studied in 3rd standard and 4th standard, food chain. So we all, that means living beings and animals and plants, all living together, interdependent. Beings are related, they are interdependent each other in this biosphere area. എല്ലാവരും പരസ്പരം ആശ്രയിച്ചാണ് ജീവിക്കുന്നത്. Plants, animals, human beings and all. Got it? Without this dependence, we cannot live. That means this interdependence is going on in this biosphere area. And this life supporting system is known as ecosystem. Means, then what you understood about the ecosystem? All the living beings, especially plants, animals, human beings, they all are interdependent and interrelated. One group of living beings cannot live alone. Interdependence and interrelation is there. So this interdependence and interrelated, they are living together in this biosphere. That system is known as ecosystem. For example, I will tell you one ecosystem. We can take oceans. In oceans, you know that there is an ecosystem. It is an ecosystem. Why it is an ecosystem? All the aquatic life, different types of the plant life is there in the ocean, and fish are there, and also nearby all the other shells are there, and all other aquatic lives are there. They all together forming a life with the ocean water. That is known as an ecosystem. Another one example I will tell you. If you are going near a pond, you can see that grass are growing near the area. the shrubs are there, and trees also will be there, frogs are there, and tadpoles are there, and also fishes, little small fish will be there, and also grasshopper will be there, butterflies will be there near that. So different types of, from tiny animals, tiny living beings to big one, you can see that. So that pond is known as an ecosystem for that animals. Now you understood what is ecosystem? Yes. Plants provide, so my dear children, why it is saying that vegetation and wildlife are valuable resources? We people are not at all, that means showing our justice towards the wild animals and natural vegetation. Recently, it is, you might have seen that started related with the Environment Day, and it is authorities, different activists and different social activists that started that planting of trees, plants, and increasing the amount of area of the forest. They started different activities. Okay, so you know that why these all activities are going, why this awareness it is going on, or why it is necessary. You know that vegetation and wildlife are very valuable resources. We cannot exist with these, so we have to protect that. It is a part and parcel of the earth, or the protection of the ecosystem, environment, fresh air, and everything. Okay, so plants provide. First we can discuss about the importance of the plant's life or a natural vegetation. Why we are saying that natural vegetation and wildlife is very important? So first we can take natural vegetation. Why it is saying that more important? Can you say, before my discussion, can you say how these natural vegetation, all plants, life and trees, how they are helping us? You know, yes, number of uses are there with the natural vegetation or plants life. Am I right? For example, the most prominent one, it is we are breathing fresh air because of the presence of this natural vegetation. Am I right? They are renewing, they are refreshing the air. And that is why he is saying that we breathe. Oxygen. We are breathing oxygen. Without them, it is not at all possible. And also, they protect soil. Protect soil. And you know that we can see that they are, we can discuss this in elaborately. It is essential for growing crops. You know that? Soil soil is base of all economic activities and the growth of the plants and every activities, construction activities, soil is the base. So you just imagine that if there is, it is a desertified land as a world as a whole, there is no trees and plants, what will happen? Because it is very difficult to sustain the soil in one area or that area. So my dear children, it is essential for growing crops, act as a shelter belt. What are the duties of plants? What they are doing? It is essential for the growing crops. That means the soil is essential, very important factor for the growing of the crops. And this, it is act as a shelter belt. ഒരു തടസ്സമായി, ഒരു പ്രൊട്ടക്ടറായി ഇപ്പോഴും നിലകൊള്ളുന്നു. ആൻഡ് ഹെൽപ്സ് ഇൻ എ സ്റ്റോറേജ് ഓഫ് അണ്ടർഗ്രൗണ്ട് വാട്ടർ, അണ്ടർഗ്രൗണ്ട് ഫ്രഷ് വാട്ടർ. You know that how we are getting well water? Because under the earth, under the soil, they are storing the fresh water. Underground water is there. So you know that they are storing the underground water. And also they are give fruits. Plants are giving fruits. Am I right? They are giving fruits and nuts, and also not only fruits and nuts, latex also. You know latex? Yes, latex. It is gum. That means we people are getting latex from the rubber, and some other acacia one tree is there, that we are getting gum from these trees. So we are getting latex from it, fruits from nuts and all other, and also it is turpentine oil. One oil is there that we can use for the as a pain, as a it act as a that painkiller. Okay, so turpentine oil and gum, medicinal plants, paper, such a way innumerable uses are there with the plants. My dear children, from while I read this list, you understood how the plants, how the soil it is supporting us. Once again, it is essential for the growing crops. That means soil is very essential, and also this soil is also helping us storage of underground water. That means they are giving fruits, nuts and all etc. with the growing of the plants, and also these plants are giving latex, gum, paper and oils, medicines etc. So now you understood how we have to take care of this natural vegetation etc. And can you say that then how wildlife would help us? We discussed how plants and soil it is helping us. Next week we have to understand how wildlife it is helping us. They, animals, birds, insects, aquatic life. Wildlife included, which are the category? Wildlife means which are the categories? It is animals, birds, insects, aquatic life. What do you mean by aquatic life? The life in the water, that is known as aquatic life. So these all living beings included in the wildlife. You don't misunderstand. Only the animals they are living in the forest. No, other some categories also there included in this wildlife. Animals should be the, birds are the, insects are the, aquatic life. These all together we are calling wildlife. Okay. These are above living beings provide. When we are taking all these, first if we are taking animals case, how they are helping us? How they are helping us? Yes, you know that different uses are there. They are providing milk, meat, hides and wood. All these things these animals are giving. That means milk is giving, meat is giving, hides are giving, and not wood, wool. Okay, these all items are provided by the animals. That I don't want to explain more. You know that which are the animals are giving milk, hide, wool, etc. Am I right? Next, if you are taking birds or insects, if you are taking, bees provided. What is the use of a bee? Bees is an insect. Am I right? So, provided bees are providing honey. Honey is most important. It is a nutrient food. Am I right? So, it is honey providing, and the bees are helping to helping the pollination. ചെടികളിൽ പരാഗണം നടക്കാൻ, pollination, and also they play as decomposers in the ecosystem. They are decomposers and they are providing, helping to the pollination activities, and they are providing honey. Different types of these insects are giving. You just think about what a little or a tiny animal it is, insects. With them, they also helping us more. Next, birds. Birds feed on insects and act as a decomposers. That means they also, birds are helping in their own way. They are feed on insects and it is act as a decomposers. My dear children, so birds are playing their own way. Their own helps to us. They are doing, they also helping human beings. Next, vulture. If you are even vulture is there, you know vulture. So due to the ability to feed on a dead animals, vulture, hyena, they all known as scavengers. You studied in your second standard EVS, I think. Scavengers. Vulture, eagle, and also this hyena. These all animals are scavengers. They are cleaning or doing the cleanser. That means cleaning activities. Decayed dead bodies, decayed bodies of other, that means things on the forest and the nearby areas. They are cleaning, eating and cleaning it. Okay, so they are known as scavengers. So my dear children, also they are a vital cleanser of environment. What do you mean by vital cleanser of environment? That I said, what I said, that means പ്രകൃതിയെ ശുദ്ധീകരിക്കുന്ന ആളുകൾ കൂടിയാണ്, ശുദ്ധീകരണ ജോലി ചെയ്യുന്ന ആളുകൾ കൂടിയാണ്. And also, so as a conclusion, we can say that animals bring or a small, big or a small, whatever maybe they are big or a small, all are integral part of the ecosystem, and also they help in the balancing of the ecosystem. My dear children, I think you got it. Wildlife, natural vegetation and wildlife we discussed now. So which are the what is known as natural vegetation and how they are helping us, and it is the what is the need to protect these resources. After that we discussed wildlife. Wildlife included animals, birds, insects and aquatic life, and how they are helping. We know that all these we discussed. I think you understood. Okay. So my dear children, I think it is a very simple area, natural vegetation and wildlife. You have to read the area more times, okay, and again repeatedly you have to read, then only you can understand, okay. And if you feel any doubts or any difficulties, you can call me, I will clear it, okay. Thank you.